with you guys. 1 second. So yeah, in regards to this game, people, I'm gonna start with my ending thoughts. My ending thought, first and foremost, we don't have the luxury of rotation. We have to rotate players. You know, if certain players played and got injured, certain fans can never be happy. We did need to rotate players, but we clearly can't rotate to the scale we have been rotating previously. I mean, other teams can, you know, because as we've previously seen, when other players aren't having good games, when other players aren't in the squad, we drop off, and you know there was too much rotation. I'm not going to harp on about Willian and this guy and that guy. We'll get onto it, but I just simply feel, you know, it's shown that when you take one or two players out of this team, even Smith Rowe, who weren't in the squad in any capacity, Aubameyang might not be in form, but he's been scoring goals. We've got a problem. Every player out there was appalling today and was poor, but I feel the fringe players, again, you all know who's in the team on a regular basis. Those individuals did not take their opportunities with both hands. We know when we rotate a team, we're going to lose a lot of fluidity. We know that some players are not actually match fit because they haven't been playing too much and whatnot. But at the end of the day, you have a chance, go and show it. We all know the players that played today and the ones that didn't take their chances. I'm not going to harp on about it. Ultimately, I feel there was an air of complacency, mainly off the back of the fact that we've been winning games and all of those sort of things. I'll get to the super chats. I haven't missed them. There's an element of complacency because for me, take nothing away from our previous victories and the run of form we have. I said this, you know, Southampton for me, we need to be looking at these two games, playing them on Tuesday, whether we win, lose or draw as a European tie. That's two clashes for me. And plus it's the precursor, you know, to what is going now to be an even tougher run of games. With all due respect to Southampton, it doesn't get better past these two games. We got to deal with Southampton on Tuesday, and obviously today, who are we playing on Sunday? Manchester United. And then you know the runs of games. We've got several trips to the Midlands. We've got the Europa League. So again, it's all fun and games, with all due respect, beating Brighton, beating Newcastle, beating West Brom. But when you've got to do it against teams that are well coached, well engined units and performing good, you've got to show it. And we bottled it today. We bottled it, and it's as simple as that. That's why I'm frustrated. I'm frustrated to go out. It's not the end of the world, but it's frustrating to go out at the fourth round of the cup, people. Second chance of potentially going out. Obviously, we all wanted to win it again. We can't always win, but I wanted to at least get to Wembley, at least get to a proper stage or play a proper sound. Due respect to Southampton, we didn't do that. Credit to Southampton and Hassan Houghton, they wanted it more. Their things worked. Unlike us, I think they started the game well. I think second half we could have probably scored, but again, we was poor. You know, everybody was all over the place. I feel second half, well, all over the game. I feel Holding and Gabriel all over the place. That ball over the top, they couldn't do it. You know, there was too much of a gap between our centre halves, too much of a gap between our fullbacks and centre halves. Our fullbacks are pushing up and not really knowing when. Our midfield is just anonymous and they're running all through it. You know, our attacking options are anonymous. You know, the best way to describe Pepe is frustrating. He shows you some good moments. He shows you some dodgy moments. Willian just isn't at it. And they're, you know, it's the less of two evils. Both players just aren't cutting it. I don't feel Eddie was as poor as people are making out. But again, doesn't offer much. Again, whatever way you look at it, players just not taking their opportunities. And I'm disappointed in the fact of we didn't start the game well enough, because how many of you sat here for my previews? We sat here just before the game kicked off, and what did we say, people? We said Southampton start game strong. We say there's a lot of goals within the 20-30 minutes. Lo and behold, what did we see? In fact, even in the game we played at the Emirates, there was a goal in the first 20 minutes. So again, we knew what to expect. We knew similar circumstances. Please make sure you hit the like button, people. We knew what to expect. So it's like we're either not doing our homework, or players are being given homework and they're just not taking it in. And this is why we can't progress. I'm keen to see how these players react now. Tuesday's telling for me. Like I said, this game's been and gone. We knew a defeat was going to come at some point. So it's how you react. And like I was saying, this is what I mean by the old games are previous now, are irrelevant. They need to show me some consistency. You know, they need to show me some consistency. Every player was poor today. The manager's tactics bewildering. No players have to be rotated and things. But again, I think it's more the players that were given opportunities, and the players were there. You know, we're missing Smith Rowe. Aubameyang's not there. This guy's not there, and that guy. But there was enough out there. I even love Martinelli, but let's keep it true. Martinelli was poor today. You know, El Nene's made the stupid mistake that's led to the goal, and fundamentally it's his fault. But away from that goal, it's not just El Nene's fault, because away from that, did we do enough to win this game? You know, if it wasn't going to be El Nene, and again, I'm not defending him. If it wasn't to be El Nene today, it was going to be somebody else. You saw it, struggling to play 5-yard passes. People are getting caught in possession. We're playing out from the back and losing it in dumb positions. You know, if it wasn't going to be El Nene, it was going to be somebody else, people. So again, the mindset isn't there, people. You know, it took us about 10 minutes. I don't know why that says pens. It took us about 10, 15 minutes to wake up, people. Unlike Southampton, they started strong. You know, James Ward-Prowse, I don't know if he meant it, but it's like he saw Leno off his line and tried to be cheeky and put it in. They started off stronger than us, people. We didn't get no football playing. We didn't earn the right to play. We didn't try and make it difficult at St. Mary's. We didn't look like a team that's trying to defend the cup, trying to defend the lead they're going on. You know, like I said about this being a very hard game, recognizing that and standing up. I saw everything from Hasenhutl's men, and I think their game plan was all right. But I think we even, not to sound sour, I think Southampton fans will agree, we flattered you lot. Because how poor we was playing, sort of thing. You did see, even in the first half, the one thing Eddie did okay at a moment was press, and you saw Fraser Foster keep out. You know, there was moments in that second half we huffed and puffed, but ultimately that's the case for us. And I keep saying we are playing this exact same way, people. We played the same way we played today, obviously a bit different, but the same way we played in the Crystal Palace draw, and they didn't take their chances. We played the same way we did against Newcastle to a degree. In the second half, we changed it, and we played the same way against Crystal Palace. So when we win, lose, or draw, we're playing the same way. You know, for me, I wanted to see us start stronger. I didn't want to go down to definitely have to wake up. I feel we've failed to start a game strong enough. We failed to learn from the last time we played in opposition. We failed to just mentally be at the game. The passing weren't there. Tactically, nobody won their individual battles. It was just collectively a cocktail of shambles, people. And I don't really blame Arteta for today, apart from probably keeping certain players on for 90 minutes, because I feel, yes, rotation came into the team, and we can say, why are you playing William? Why are you doing this? These are all valid things, but I think there was enough out there to get a better result and play better. I feel there was enough out there to show more, and I feel squad players that have been in and around the team did nothing to seize their opportunities, people, really and truly. Nobody took their chance today. You know, it took us about 10 minutes to wake up. You know, again, we still can't break down low blocks, or if not low blocks, well defensively drilled sides. As you saw, it's very difficult to break down Southampton. Their foot came off the gas naturally in the second half, and we had more of a look in, but we struggled to break them down. And really, the best threats we were having when it was balls into the channels, they were causing issues. On the right hand side, when Pepe earned the corner out of Bertrand for no reason. On the left hand side, where Gabriel had a couple of opportunities, and obviously Gabriel had a lovely opportunity to control and take it on his left foot, or definitely strike it a bit more, and he failed to do that. He miskicked it. They had our best chances at a period in the game for me, people. As I just mentioned, the comment about balls into the channel, I think you could immediately see Gabriel is very rusty at centre-half in particular, with a couple of the touches and things he's doing. We deserve to go 1-0 down because we have not started the game well enough, people, and it's in familiar territory. Cheap goals, another goal inside 30, and it's meant to say unneeded here, just an unneeded goal, like just a cheap mistake. And that's been a case of us in the Premier League, and it's followed us into the FA Cup. You know, it went under Leno. You know, Cedric and Gabriel Martinelli, they might have got closer, maybe potentially. You know, maybe there's other things, but I feel it's fundamentally El Nene's fault, because El Nene is dilly-dallying in possession, people. It's as simple as that. They deserve their goal, though. Maybe not a cheap goal to that standard, but they deserve their goal. Ward-Prowse has started well. Kyle Walker-Peters is causing problems. You know, I think Ings worked very well. How he didn't get a goal, no. You know, he hit the post at one time. You know, they deserve it because they started stronger than us, and they started strong. You know, it's the same old slow starts. And again, this has been a case in a couple of our previous games, and we couldn't break down Southampton, you know. So these are themes that, whether we've won, lost, or drawn, are still unanswered questions. And today we didn't answer it. Even at 1-0 down, I'm still looking at my TV and I'm still saying in the live stream, wake up. You know, we weren't that at it today. And, you know, it's going to be a lot of in-house searching, because we're not going back to London. We're staying in a hotel for Tuesday. So a lot of you have to do some soul searching. At halftime, I'm sitting there, people, and firmly just thinking, once again, we're playing ball, but it's self-inflicted goals. You know, take nothing away from Southampton and their start and how they played, but I think we've self-inflicted. I feel El Nene made a mistake, but I don't warrant a scapegoating thing, because, again, away from that mistake, were we doing everything to get into the game? And if it wasn't going to happen there, it would have been elsewhere. I feel there is no midfield. That's one thing I will blame Xhaka for. There is no midfield at all. We're not doing nothing in that regard. Williams also a part of that. I feel there's no energy. You know, the transition is very lackluster. You know, it's just poor. as I kept saying, and I keep saying, self-inflicted and cheap mistakes, struggling to make basic passes, where a club that wants to play forward-thinking football, that's a concern. Once again, we're struggling to break down either low blocks or well-engined units or well-coached sides, as you have seen with Hassan Hutul's mentality today. Another first half ultimately not offering anything. What saves did you really have to Fraser Foster have to make, really ultimately making the game harder than it needed to be? And again, fundamentally, players that were given a rare opportunity, nobody's taking their chance to lack submit a first team place on a regular basis. I feel, I hear why Cedric weren't poor today, in my opinion. He was poor as everyone else, but I hear what you're saying about he can fill in at left back. But again, I do want an natural out and out left back. I'd rather Saka play there at a push, because you can see someone who is firmly right-footed on that left-hand side. And I feel Martinelli was too narrow today. Cedric, when he did go forward, he wasn't being hit. But again, he's not making the right runs. I did feel, to be fair to the fullbacks and the wide men, when they're being given passes, it's behind them. So again, struggling to make passes. We're struggling to play out from the back. Positionally, we're all over the place. We look like a bunch of strangers, really and truly. And I know rotation and taking individuals out the side, especially as delicate as we are as Arsenal, you're going to see these things, but it shouldn't happen to that standard. And that's where I mean by, you lot don't need to understand it's a squad game. This is why you need someone like Odegaard in any capacity, because if Smith Rowe for whatever reason isn't in the team, guys like Willian, they're not up to standard. Listen, I think people are being quite harsh on Pepe. Personally, I feel he was poor today, but I don't think man are making out that it's all his fault. I think he was definitely better than some attackers. Saying that, Pepe's incredibly frustrating, and between Pepe and Willian at this point, I'm done talking about them. I'm done talking about these players. Fundamentally, it's what I always tell you, and these men are hot and cold. They'll have some good moments, they'll have some bad moments. When the time is needed now, and it's time to carry on with certain things, they struggle, which we did today, people. The only players I have expectation on is Partey. You see, just when Partey coming on, Partey lost the ball quite a few times, but just by coming on and playing the ball forward, you saw the difference. If it's not Partey, Osaka, who put in a lovely ball at the end, Gabriel, who was rusty today and has to hold his hands up, Martinelli, who was anonymous, and Tierney and Leno and things like that. I don't believe in some, man, because they will show you a couple of good games, they'll show you a couple of iffy games, and you naturally, every team will have a few of these individuals. When that's the case for probably about 80-90% of these individuals, it's a problem. On the best of days, we struggle to say we have a convincing 11 that can do top 4 and do things like that. But the squad game is also something. The immediate goal is to have a first 11, but the squad, and again, it's problems for us. We haven't got a good enough rotation. I get it, because people can get injured, people can get injured and things like that, but we really can't afford to rotate people. I feel, to be honest, in the second half, I felt they began to get tired naturally. Southampton would. They're committing themselves. I think there was periods where we're all in their half, like you can see in the 60 and 70 minutes where they're all behind the ball. I did think they were going to get a second, because there were incidences. Our defensive shape, as you lot saw, was evidently extremely poor, people, fundamentally. The best chance of Eddie is when Pepe laid it to him, and even Eddie and Ketty, there's one chance I'll afford him a luxury, because it hit somebody else. But his shooting boots, what's going on? I'm not going to get onto Eddie, because there's barely any chances created, even though I don't think much of Eddie. But you've got to take some of these chances, work the keeper. And, Eddie, I've got to the point where these Eddies and Williams, they're William more so, they're poor, but I'm not looking at them anymore. I have to look at the manager and say, why is William playing 90 minutes? And getting fit and you want confidence, but keep playing the likes of Willian, harming us. Because when it's Pepe, and I'm not saying right or wrong, when it's Pepe, you're dropping him out. So why are we relying on Willian? Willian's got 90 minutes in his tank now, but what has that helped? He doesn't deserve to start against Southampton. And I don't want this to all be on William, because he's not alone there. There's 11 players. And I don't feel there's a single player in that squad that can leave that field and say they couldn't have done more. Out of push, I'd say Leno. I couldn't ask Leno to do nothing. And his distribution, an area where I think he's quite weak at, was spot on today. As I said, the fringe players were poor, ultimately complacent. All the team was all over the place. But in particular for me, centre half, I couldn't believe what I was seeing. Couple of ending points as well, people. We all know, ironically, what winning this trophy did for us last year. We were happy because it's a trophy. We thought it was a precursor, and that, Arteta's come in. There's a bit of togetherness. It's the FA Cup to this season. It can be the top 4 and beyond next season. Ain't We were happy about that. Were the club or people above us, were they happy that we qualified for the top four for top four purposes? I mean, for Europe, for top six purposes, or were they happy that we get into Europe? I mean, for Europa League, or were they happy that we get into Europe and the finances? We're in trouble now, because now you have to finish, ideally, by God's grace, as unrealistic as it is, in a top four place. We all know that for the dreaming, you know, we probably have more of a chance of winning the lottery than Arsenal finishing there. So now we need to finish in a Champions League place, people. I mean, in the ideally Champions League, or in a Europa League position, you know, or make the Europa League final, or there's no European football. And we all talk about rebuild. We need to understand, you know, we're at a time where, yes, our owner's a billionaire, but the club we're led to believe is very delicate financially. So we've got to watch every penny. And you saw how much it took just to get party and stuff. So if we're not going to get Champions League football, we're in further trouble, people. Ultimately, we deserve to go at the FA Cup. As I said at the start, it's disappointing that we've gone out in this manner. Listen, I've got nothing. There's nothing wrong with losing. I hate losing. Everyone should hate losing, but it's the manner. If we lost today and Southampton were the better men, fair play, and they still were the better men. But again, we're looking at it like, yeah, Southampton were great. They were this, they were that. They were great. They weren't great. This guy was good, whatever. But then you look at it, you look at Southampton, and then you write Arsenal on the whiteboard, reasons why they lost today. You can probably find 10, 15 reasons, you know, centre halves and wide men all over the place, anonymous midfield, front, extremely frustrating front three, to put it nicely, collectively just simply a shambles, to put it nicely. That's all you can say in regards to that, people, really and truly. Like, we deserve to lose. Like I said, credit to Southampton. They did what they needed to do. I'll give them credit, people. You know, they deserve it. Congratulations. You know, I want Southampton personally to win it now. I don't mind losing to the team that took us out. At least we lost to the champions. So Southampton, go and win that. And to be fair with you, did Southampton not have 2 games this week? I know they rotated the team, but I'm probably sure a bunch of their individuals played today, and a bunch of them will play on Tuesday. You know, Aubameyang missed out due to personal reasons, but you don't think Ings got 86 minutes or something? You don't think he's starting against us? Forget about it. You don't think you're not going to see Ward-Prowse, Ryan Bertrand, who actually might even be an Arsenal player, but come Tuesday, you know, they're going to play against us. So congratulations to City. There are lessons to learn in this game, but for me, will these players learn it? Because the very things that happen is very much becoming a case of different game, same result. Just the only thing that's different is the team, because I don't want to sound like a broken record, but just yesterday in a live stream, I did my half-season review. And when I was talking about the Premier League games of Wolves, of Villa, of Leicester, all these games, the common theme was stuff today. Switching off, not concentrating, cheap mistakes, handing over points. And of course, this is the FA Cup, but that is the theme of this football club. So again, until you lot until you lot play with some pride, until you lot show us something, it's not there. We're great when the pressure's off, you know. Brighton, West Brom, all these games are easy. Chelsea, I'll give them credit. It is what it is. We can talk about individuals who are blue in the face, but for me, it's just a poor collective. We don't win. We don't win as a single team. We don't lose as a single player. We don't win as a single player. You know, it does I hate when football fans do this. I'm not talking about don't scrutinize and praise and critique fairly individual performances, but it's almost like, oh yeah, he played poor, but his poor wasn't as bad as his poor. Let's laugh at him. Let's get on to him. That's dead. We played poor. We hang everybody out to dry, and it was an atrocious game, people. You know. It's Europa League or bust, or you're hoping, you know, we can finish in a Europa League place. But if that doesn't happen, we're in problems. Like I said, people, you know, congratulations to Southampton. You know, Southampton won, Arsenal 0, people. It's like there's really nothing more to say in that regard.